Can you give us a few examples of how blockchain could, be used by HR or in HR to help solve some of these problems?
Yeah, I think one use that I particularly like is the old-fashioned CV on MS Word. Actually, we need a digital version of that is verifiable. I think the future of CVs will be, we'll have our work references, certifications, work history, references from colleagues, psychometric tests, whatever, that we'll control in a wallet that's encrypted that only we have access to. And then we can share that data with parties that we trust. And that could be a potential employer, a recruiter, or somebody like that. The difference is we own it and we decide who looks at it and whether we want to monetize it ourselves. That's really, really powerful. And I think if we get our heads around that, that could change the whole recruitment marketplace. If we get to that point, then we can have more efficient work matching platforms, as I call them. And that doesn't have to be for old-fashioned jobs, contracts. It could be for hourly advice. There's companies in the startup space where you can actually get paid in crypto or fiat currencies for an hour of your advice through matching and verification. Yeah. So I think it's got great potential. The platform enables peer-to-peer transactions, so you can find a job. So what that means is transaction costs go down. I don't know what the fees are off the top of my head, but roughly 20% down to below 5%, where it's just peer-to-peer. Yeah. So there's some great advantages for employers, for workers in this actual model. And another advantage of that is around giving benefits to the freelancers in the gig economy. Maybe they could own or have a share in these platforms. So it's a very different model we're talking about, and I'm seeing these being built today.
I believe another use case is about payroll and blockchain, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, if you think of all the workers out there, not everybody gets paid on the fourth Friday of every month, like in the UK, or every 2 weeks in the US. And if anyone's worked in their own company, self-employed, freelancers, it can take weeks and weeks to actually get paid. So one thing that blockchain can do with verification, checking, and validation is just make that process more streamlined with more trust in it. So there's a case of a couple of companies. One is Chronobank in Australia are paying construction workers basically that day after they clock out. They actually have money in their wallet that they can spend with fiat currencies, Aussie dollars, in the supermarket that evening. So it's good for the employer because they can validate that person on site should be there from that perspective, and the worker themselves know they'll get paid at the end of the day. So it's a win-win. Obviously, we'd have to reconstruct a lot of our accounts payable, finance, and payroll processes. Yes. But I see this as a decades-long play out.
Yeah.